If we were inviting you to take part in a special Bowie TV show that we were going to put on, who would you like to be on with you? Who would you invite as your guests?
Marc Bolan.
David Byrne and I were going to get married at one time. We remember.
There's one for you, Marc.
I'm your top.
I first met Marc Bolan, who became a very, very good friend of mine.
He'd been in all the magazines. He was it. He wore the best suits, and at 14, he'd been on the streets, like, looking cool. Very young mod. Marc Feld, within that year, changed his name to Marc Bolan. And Marc taught me a very, very important thing in life, that in Carnaby Street in those days, they'd throw away anything that didn't have a button on, or if there was a tear or something, they put it in the dustbins at night. So if you hit Carnaby Street about 8 o'clock, you could get a full wardrobe just out the dustbins. And so I blessed Marc. He kept my wardrobe going for years, that bloke.
This is where I think Marc really found the particular style that he was after, and again, it's one of those sort of pre-records. You could tell that something else was going to happen after Tyrannosaurus Rex, that he was thinking of getting involved in a band sound. But when it did come out on the English radio, it made an unbelievable impression because of its strange quality. There hadn't been really anything like it before.
Maybe you can explain to our American audience tonight who are not that familiar with Marc, not everyone is that familiar with Marc Bolan's work, T-Rex, even though they were enormously successful in England.
Yeah, well, in fact, in England and the rest of the world, from Europe to Japan, they were fast becoming the biggest thing since Sliced Beatles. I mean, they were it, no doubt about it.
For some reason or other, not in the U.S., though.
Absolutely no idea why. I mean, but at that time I was unfamiliar with the States, so it would be hard to say why. Again, because I think everybody was pretty serious over here about their music, and Marc's sort of defiant sort of attitude and very sort of fey stance was a little bit objectionable to the majority of record buyers in America, who still wanted a very serious thing going, I think.
And you think that this song, Deborah, is best representative of his work at that time?
And how, again, it helped to change the whole feeling about music in the early 70s, definitely.
I assume that you feel if Marc had not died in that crash that he would still be making very formidable music today and be part of the whole, to use an overworked term, new wave in music.
That was the saddest thing about his death, was that at the time he died, a lot of interest was suddenly being shown in what he was doing, and he again was being adopted by a lot of the new bands as somebody who had influenced them. And it was just also tragic that he died at that particular time. He was just going into the studio to record a whole new batch of material. Absolutely ghastly.
Do you remember the year that Deborah was made by T-Rex?
Oh, no.
No.
Well, you'll have to put shape and year to these things, because I'm not very hot on years at all.
Oh, we bombed at the Roundhouse. Marc Bolan was the only person that clapped. He stood in the front with... He bought one of those funny little plastic, like Caesar's, one of the Romans' chest plates with sort of elastic bands. He got it from Woolworths, and he wore that and a funny helmet and all his sort of Syd Barrett hair coming out, and stood in the front and clapped. Quite rightly so. I mean, we were all wearing Dan Dare outfits, I think, and Superman stuff. I don't know what we were doing there. We were right out of place.
I did it properly once upon a time. I did it beautifully, in fact, with the help of Turning This Country, and Marc Bolan, as you know, is a very close friend of mine, and truly is. I don't think we both know that. And Marc played a fabulous riff on it, which we took and repeated the same riff this time around. It's one of the nicest things he's ever played.
He probably did as much for the early 70s sound in England as Spector did to the 60s sound in America. Single-handedly changed an awful lot of what was happening sound-wise in England. It's my old buddy Marc Bolan, 20th century boy, which he always will be.
Marc and I had an extraordinary relationship. We both knew we were going to do great things. And we were very close in the beginning. And then as it got closer to us actually making it, we drifted apart and we'd be very wary of each other. He started getting fairly, known, and invite me to do mime performances on his tours and stuff like that. But we kind of drifted, we were at either end of the room by that time. you know, even being sort of superficially pleasant with each other, it was like, who's going to do it first? He brought glitter to the masses. And I thought, no, he's done it, he's done it, he's done it first.
I knew Marc quite well.
Yeah.
It was delightful. I had a lot of fun with him.
Marc was great.
But that only...
What a hustler. Such a funny little guy. Yeah. He was such a mischievous elfin. He really was. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he thought he knew how he was going to get it. And I tell you, man, I got this sound that you're just not going to believe, man. It's and then he'd go away and say, what the hell am I going to do? I've told everybody I've got this sound. And then he went, and you'd see him sort of working out things to support the statements he'd said. And he was a great guy. Just generally like a real London chummy thing. It was great. He was a great laugh. And I tended to be, not so much these days, fortunately, but I would get depressed very easily. I found myself to be what they call a sensitive British type. The worst thing to be. And Marc was so buoyant that he could get, in 10 minutes, he could get you laughing about everything you thought was a real problem and a real trouble. No, he was a good clown. Good clown, very talented guy as well.
Oh.
He knew what rock and roll was.
He had manipulate that audience.
He was a wonderful showman. He really was a great showman. And not enough good footage was ever taken of him, unfortunately. The stuff that I've seen is certainly second rate. There's no really, and I've seen him do some fantastic shows. But never one of those instances where nobody ever seemed to be there on the right night or something like that.
Did that group of people feel that they were an avant-garde? Did you, like a left bank crowd?
Oh, yeah. It had all that. Yeah. I think that there was quite a logical reasoning for that, because there was a kind of a hardening of the arteries in rock up until that time. It really was looking for something new. And we felt that we had a certain amount of... we had a humorous and sartorial edge on things, I think, that we felt was missing in rock. And we knew that there had to be something new, and... Hey, we're probably it. Yeah. I mean, we'd look around and say, well, hey, there ain't much else. It's all so boring.
We became firm friends again up until his death. The last few years in the 70s, we got incredibly staunch friends. I mean, Marc was probably my best friend at that particular time up until he died. He was such a great guy. And it was such a tragedy. Really knocked me sideways when that happened. We had a great relationship. He was a lot of fun, a very witty, funny man. Full of charm, incredibly arrogant, but most enchantingly arrogant, most acceptable.
Well, that's the end of another show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon. Remember, keep a little Marc in your heart, and we'll be back the same Marc time, same Marc channel.